Every great movement, every lasting company, and every inspiring leader share one common trait. They begin with a clear sense of purpose. Simon Sinek, in his groundbreaking book Start With Why, argues that people do not buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The greatest leaders ignite passion, not by explaining features or strategies, but by connecting to a deeper cause. Purpose, not profit, is the ultimate driver of influence. Imagine two leaders presenting the same idea. One lists technical benefits, statistics, and advantages. The other begins by sharing a vision of changing lives, inspiring progress, and building a better future. Which one captures hearts? Sinek teaches that the second always wins, because humans are wired to respond to meaning. People crave direction, not data. It is not enough to explain the what. True leadership begins with explaining the why. At the heart of Sinek's message lies the concept of the golden circle. It begins with three concentric rings: why, how, and what. Most people start from the outside, describing what they do, then how they do it, and rarely why. Great leaders reverse the order. They begin with why, inspiring belief, then move to how, building trust, and finally explain what, creating clarity. This structure transforms ordinary communication into extraordinary influence. Sinek illustrates this with Apple. Countless technology companies sell computers, but Apple sells a vision of challenging the status quo and empowering creativity. Their why is rebellion against mediocrity. Their how is elegant design and user-friendly experience. Their what is simply the product line. Millions do not buy Apple because of specifications. They buy because Apple communicates a shared identity. This proves that purpose, when expressed clearly, creates unmatched loyalty. Humans are emotional beings before they are rational. Neuroscience reveals that decisions are driven by the limbic brain, where feelings of trust and loyalty reside, not the neocortex, where logic lives. This explains why facts often fail to persuade, while stories inspire action. Leaders who start with why speak directly to the emotional core of decision-making. Once hearts are moved, minds follow naturally. Purpose speaks to the soul. Logic merely informs. Sinek reminds us that leadership without purpose is fragile. When leaders cannot articulate why they exist, followers drift away. Purpose creates alignment far stronger than rules or incentives. It unites people under a common flag, making sacrifice meaningful and struggle worthwhile. History proves that revolutions are never fueled by spreadsheets. They are fueled by vision. Great leaders stand out not because they demand loyalty, but because they inspire it with purpose. Consider Martin Luther King Jr. He did not stand before thousands declaring, "I have a plan," he declared. "I have a dream." His words reached the deepest layers of human desire, awakening hope and courage. This is the difference between managers and leaders. Managers direct action. Leaders inspire belief. Start with why reminds us that belief is the fuel that sustains movements long after leaders themselves are gone. Sinek emphasizes that clarity of why does not guarantee success, but it makes success possible. Without it, organizations fall into confusion, inconsistency, and decline. People sense when leaders are driven only by profit or vanity, and trust dissolves. But when leaders hold steady to a clear purpose, people endure hardship willingly. Purpose becomes a compass that guides decisions, unites effort, and sustains perseverance, even through storms of uncertainty. Another lesson is that followers mirror the clarity of leaders. If leaders waver in explaining their why, their teams lose conviction. But if leaders remain consistent, teams echo their strength. Influence multiplies when purpose is repeated, reinforced, and lived out daily. The more people see leaders embodying their why, the more they adopt it as their own. Purpose is contagious when it is authentic, consistent, and visible in every action. Sinek warns against manipulation. Discounts, fear tactics, and pressure may buy temporary compliance, but never lasting loyalty. Manipulation treats people as transactions, not as humans. In contrast, inspiration builds bonds that endure. True leadership is not about forcing behavior, but about awakening belief. When people act because they want to, not because they have to, commitment deepens. The difference between manipulation and inspiration is the difference between fleeting success and timeless impact. Starting with why also creates resilience. Organizations and individuals who know their why adapt faster to change because they anchor identity in purpose, not products. Products evolve, markets shift, but purpose remains constant. This stability breeds confidence, allowing teams to take risks without losing direction. People with a strong why can bear almost any how. Purpose is not only fuel for growth, it is the anchor in chaos. Sinek shows that the power of why extends beyond business. It applies to careers, families, and personal lives. Knowing why you wake up in the morning transforms daily routines into missions. Purpose turns obstacles into opportunities and transforms effort into joy. People without a why drift endlessly. People with a why create legacies. Leadership begins not in boardrooms, but in the quiet conviction of an individual who knows why they exist. Ultimately, Sinek urges us to examine our own lives. Do we know our why? Or are we trapped chasing what others expect? To lead, we must first find the flame that drives us, then share it with conviction. Starting with why is not about slogans, but about living authentically. People follow those who show courage to lead with meaning. Influence is not granted, it is earned through clarity of purpose lived daily. Sinek explains that great leaders maintain consistency between their why, how, and what. When these three align, trust flourishes. When they conflict, doubt spreads quickly. Leaders who preach purpose but act selfishly lose credibility. In contrast, those who live their why build movements. Consistency is not perfection, but integrity. It is the courage to make choices that reflect values, even when costly. Trust, once established, becomes the strongest currency of influence. The book reminds us that energy and passion cannot be faked forever. People may follow charisma for a season, but they will only commit long-term to leaders whose why resonates deeply. Authenticity separates fleeting popularity from enduring loyalty. Leaders must therefore do the inner work of discovering the real why, not borrowing one for appearances. The world does not need more polished images. It needs leaders whose actions echo their words. Sinek shows how purpose-driven organizations attract talent naturally. People do not join merely for paychecks. They join for belonging. When companies articulate a clear why, they attract those who believe in the same cause. This alignment creates stronger teams and reduces turnover. Work becomes more than a job, it becomes a mission. Purpose is the magnet that draws individuals together, turning ordinary workplaces into movements that shape culture far beyond office walls. Another principle is that success can be dangerous if purpose is forgotten. Many organizations begin with a clear why, achieve rapid growth, and then drift into complacency. They focus on products, profits, or fame instead of purpose. Slowly, trust erodes and decline follows. Sinek warns that remembering why you started is critical. Success is fragile without purpose. Only by anchoring to why can organizations sustain excellence over generations. Sinek also emphasizes that clarity of why simplifies decision-making. When leaders know their purpose, they filter opportunities through that lens. This prevents distractions and maintains focus. Without purpose, decisions become reactive and inconsistent, leaving teams confused. But with purpose, choices align naturally, even in uncertainty. Purpose transforms leadership from endless debate into guided conviction. Clarity does not eliminate risk, but it makes direction undeniable and empowers teams to move forward boldly. He highlights that innovation flows more easily from purpose than from pressure. Teams motivated only by competition chase shortcuts, while purpose-driven teams explore boldly. Apple did not innovate to beat rivals, but to challenge norms and empower creativity. Purpose liberates imagination. When people feel they are building something meaningful, they take risks willingly. Innovation then becomes not forced but natural, springing from the energy of shared belief and vision. Sinek shows that purpose creates loyalty even in hard times. Customers forgive mistakes when they believe in your why. Employees stay committed during struggles if they feel connected to a cause larger than themselves. Loyalty is not bought with perks, but earned with belief. Leaders who start with why build communities, not audiences. Communities endure storms, critics, and setbacks because their bond is built not on convenience, but on conviction. The book explains that starting with why amplifies influence. People naturally share stories of leaders and organizations who inspire them. Inspiration spreads faster than advertising because it is carried by belief. Marketing budgets buy attention. Purpose wins devotion. When people believe in your why, they become ambassadors of your vision. Influence then grows organically, multiplying impact without manipulation. Leaders who inspire belief harness a power that no campaign could purchase. Sinek reminds us that individuals, not just companies, must find their why. Knowing your personal why transforms careers into callings. It gives resilience against burnout and clarity in choices. Without a why, life feels like running endlessly without direction. With a why, even challenges feel worthwhile. Great leaders do not simply discover their why once. They live it, refine it, and recommit daily. Purpose is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. Another key lesson is that leadership built on why outlasts leaders themselves. Organizations anchored in purpose continue thriving even when founders leave, because culture is built on meaning, not personality. This ensures sustainability. Sinek teaches that the most powerful legacy a leader can leave is not a company, but a cause. Causes endure beyond lifetimes, echoing into future generations. Leadership rooted in why creates not followers, but successors carrying the torch forward. Sinek emphasizes that cynicism and doubt often challenge purpose. People may mock or resist those who lead with vision, but this opposition is proof of impact. Great leaders are rarely understood at first, but clarity of why sustains them through criticism. Resistance is not a signal to stop it, is evidence of moving against mediocrity. Leaders who persist through doubt prove their authenticity, and over time, their why wins trust and admiration. The book concludes with a challenge. Examine your actions, your choices, your mission. Do they align with your why, or are you drifting without direction? Starting with why is not a theory for boardrooms. It is a call to live authentically in every role. Leaders who begin with why change not only businesses, but societies. They remind us that clarity of purpose is the foundation of greatness for individuals and organizations alike. And so, you must ask yourself today, what is your why? The answer will not come from outside. It must be discovered within. When you find it, live it, and share it, you will inspire others to do the same. This is how influence is born, not through control, but through conviction. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the bell, and share it, so more people can begin the journey of starting with why.